What's up guys, SeanEDawgz here, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you my 5 absolute best tips for improving your aim in Call of Duty. Now the first and most important thing, and I cannot stress this enough, is your sensitivity. There are far too many players that play on a sensitivity that is too high for them to handle. You might be trying to give yourself too much credit. You don't want to play on a lower sensitivity because you don't want to look like a scrub. Your friend's going to ask you what it is. You're going to say like 4, and he's going to think you're an idiot because it's too slow. He's going to be like, what? Can you not react? Is your aim terrible? What are you doing? But I can tell you from personal experience, and even the pros, a lot of them do play on 4. It may seem very low, but it makes it so easy to control your aim in gunfights. It's almost like child's play. Obviously, there are going to be a few very rare scenarios where someone will jump right over your head and you can't really swing up fast enough to get him, but it is not worth increasing your sensitivity for that, because that is a very rare occasion. You're going to increase your sensitivity to combat all these high flyers, but then your long range gunshot is going to suffer. I've been playing Call of Duty since COD 3 and I still play on a 4 sensitivity. That is how important it is. It doesn't matter how much experience you have, how good your gun skill is. The lower the sensitivity, the better, up to a certain point, of course. But if you're playing hardcore, this doesn't really apply because the mechanics are completely different. That's just a twitch shooter. It eliminates pretty much the entire skill gap when it comes to gun skill. So I bumped my sensitivity up to 10 right away, but I can handle it. I play the game every day. Maybe you won't be able to do that, but you can definitely play hardcore on a higher sensitivity than core, because you don't need that steady aim. You don't need to keep your aim in one spot because the person will be dead by your second or third bullet. Because sensitivity is so important, I actually have an entire video dedicated to that one tip where I go a lot more in depth and in detail with my setup. If you want to check that out, a link will be down in the description below. The next best way to improve your aim, and a lot of you aren't going to want to hear this because it isn't really a fast method to get your aim better, it's just through sheer experience. And one of the easiest ways to build this experience very quickly is to go in a private match, put a bunch of bots. The max you can put is like 17. Go on a map like Genesis to start, because that's a lot of close range gunfights. Even if your aim isn't that great, you should be able to handle a small map, and just run around with the NV4. Try not to miss any shots at all. These are bots. You probably want to put them on recruit, so you're straight up practicing your aim. You're not worrying about getting shot at. You're trying to get better at the game. Take the time to really focus. Take those 10 to 15 minutes, maybe right when you get on, to warm up and focus solely on getting your aim dead center of the target and not missing any bullets. It takes a lot of practice, thousands and thousands of gunfights. It's the repetition that makes you better. So by putting on all these bots, you're getting a lot of repetition, a lot more than you would get in a normal game. You could set it to free-for-all, put the score limit up to like 1,000 or infinite if you want, and just practice as long as you care to stay in the game. Obviously, work your way towards the bigger maps as your aim gets better, so you could practice that mid-range shot and then your long-range shot to see just how good you are, how much you've improved. I actually have not gone into a lobby with bots in Infinite Warfare, but that's because I've only been playing Call of Duty for like the past 2 years, and in Black Ops 3 I would do this all the time. Right when I got on, I would set it to Nuketown against 17 bots on free-for-all. I'd set the score limit to 1,000 and I wouldn't stop until I hit it. It would take quite a while, but it definitely did improve my aim. Once your aim gets good enough, you won't really need to go into a private match anymore, because your aim will just be so much better than 95% of the players you'll play against in a public match. And it sounds a little mean, but you're kind of just replacing the bots with actual people at this point, because now you have to try to master keeping your aim on target against people that are going to move like people and not like bots. The next tip that I have for you is actually something not to do. In Black Ops 3, all I tried to do 100% of the time was jump shot, and that really did hurt my gun skill, because when I would jump shot, my accuracy was not nearly as good as it was on the ground because I hadn't really practiced jump shotting that much. My aim was very shaky and it would cause me to actually lose gunfights than if I were to stay on the ground. So don't be one of those people. Don't just jump shot because you can. If you have like a scuff, don't just jump to jump. It doesn't make sense and you will lose gunfights because of it. If you're paying attention to this gameplay, I actually did get a nuke at the end. The dropship was there on the top, but it didn't actually drop the nuke. But anyways, when you are jump shotting, it takes around a year or maybe even a little bit longer to get completely used to those paddles on the back of your controller. And until then, your jump shot's not going to be as good as your regular shot, even though you have those paddles. So you really do have to work on that and just keep playing the game and perfect your jump shot. Now once you have all the basics down, you can handle jump shotting, your aim is really good at long range, you think your gun skill is top tier. The next step comes in predicting where enemies will be. Back in, I'd say, Black Ops 2, when I first really got into Call of Duty, I was watching a lot of pros play on Twitch in the CWL, and something that really helped me was, if you've ever watched any competitive Call of Duty, when they go into the point of views of the players, it's in Codcaster mode. So the announcers that are spectating, it shows outlines of everyone on the entire map. So it shows like X-ray vision, it can see where every single person is. And what helped me is when I'm spectating a pro, I can see where he's pre-aiming. He has no idea where the other player is, but I can see him with the X-ray vision through the wall. And I started to notice they would pre-aim different corners differently depending on where they thought their enemy would show up. It was really cool because I had never even thought about that before. When I pre-aimed, I would just hold my left trigger just to hold it so I would have a jump on the guy, but I never knew exactly like where to aim, the different little nuances that really improve your play. It never came to mind, and the more and more I watched these pros and I could see the enemies that they couldn't see, but they were still pre-aimed as if they could. It was really weird at first, but then I started to understand it and they were just predicting where the enemy could possibly be. So this is one of the hardest things to do because these are real people. They're not always going to do the same thing. Some people think less rationally than others, but predicting gets you so much better at the game because you know what people are going to do before they even do it. You'll notice that a lot of people have the same tendencies. They'll make the same plays in certain situations, and it really does allow you to just dominate, and your aim will be on point right when they peek out of certain corners. The last tip that I have for you is do not ever turn off your aim assist under any circumstances. I know that there are a lot of YouTubers out there that tell you they have a whole accuracy drill, they tell you an exact setup, and they say, oh yeah, take your aim assist off for this so you really get your aim good, and then once you go back into a public match, turn it back on and your aim will feel so much better. That is the dumbest thing you can possibly do. When your aim assist is off, it's not really even the same things. You don't do the same motions to get your aim on a player, and it will not help you at all. If anything, that'll actually be detrimental to your play because you'll get used to aiming without aim assist, and then the instant you turn it on, you got to get used to that again, and you're just switching it up. You're not really able to build the muscle memory. So right now, go into your settings, make sure your aim assist is on, and do not ever turn it off. If I have like a really bad gunfight and I'm like, wow, that was terrible, I'll check to see if my aim assist was off because it really can make your aim awful. I will say that whenever I play zombies, I take that target assist off because it's really annoying when you're trying to get headshots on zombies. You aim in and it'll just aim dead center of the chest because of the aim assist, and then it'll drift a little bit because there's so many bodies. Aim assist actually does hurt in zombies, so if you do play zombies, I would play without it just because it's much easier to get headshots without the aim assist. So those are all the major points that I have for you guys. One other thing, a tendency that I've started to notice in Infinite Warfare is my play. I usually just stay with the pack. I keep up with everyone until the game gets to around 40 or 50 in the team deathmatch score limit, and then I don't know what happens if people fall behind or I just go into another zone, but I really start to pull away around that 40 mark. I just go on a tear, and it might just be due to consistency. I have all the practice, the experience is there, and while I still stay at the same level of play, maybe some people fall behind. They'll have a really good start, but once it gets down into that base Call of Duty, you're just on that grind in the middle of a game, people start to fall apart, and that is where I excel with the consistency factor. So who would have thought the best way to get better at doing something is to do it 1,000 times over and over again. So if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to drop a like, comment down below with any thoughts or questions you may have, and as always, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new for some more great videos, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.